Batman, the Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader. Bruce Wayne goes under many names, but what he may be known for more than anything is his loyal companion who's always by his side, his partner Robin. Now, seeing as you've clicked on this video asking specifically who the best Robin is, I see no reason to waste time explaining the origins of the character, all the different incarnations, etc. You got Dick, Jason, Tim, and Damian. If you want their backstories and such, then I'm sure there's a channel that can provide that information, but what we're asking today is which Robin is best. And the answer? Well, I wish I could give you a straight one. I personally hate YouTube videos that don't end definitively, but honestly, it's not as straightforward as it might seem. Like, what is even the question? Is it who is the strongest, the best fighter, the most skilled, the most intelligent, the best kind of overall? Who has the best chemistry or partnership with Batman? Or, who has the most potential as a Robin? Or is it actually who would be the best successor to the cowl? There's a lot to cover, and I want to be thorough, although the rules are that while I'm only including the core 4 Robins, I will be paying lip service to various Batgirls and other Bat family members when they are possible contenders. Even if they don't count, I still think it's worth giving them a little credit. Now, to get this out of the way, for best fighter, while some people may insist that Jason Todd is the strongest or most prolific of the Robins, basically all the evidence points to Dick Grayson being the most powerful Robin. Even ignoring the fact that whenever they've had 1v1s, Jason has lost against Dick, Dick has also been shown to be capable of beating a boosted Deathstroke in a fight in the Dark Crisis event, someone that he was previously understood to not be capable of consistently beating without Slade having some type of nerf. Dick's showings and portrayal progressively get better with time, with statements from early stories giving the image of a man coming close to Batman's level of strength, and maybe surpassing him in small ways such as acrobatics or reaction speed, but ultimately being slightly weaker than the Dark Knight. To his more modern portrayal of a student having surpassed the Master, and more confidently being the strongest Bat family member. Although that, like many things in comics, is very inconsistent. If we were going to rank them, it would look a little more something like this. And yes, Damian, despite being the youngest, is not the weakest Robin. In the last few years, as he gets more and more stories with higher stakes, his notable improvement in strength and combat opponents is very impressive, along with the inevitable conflicts the Bat family get in with each other, of course, in which Damian handles himself very capably against his fellow Robins. While some may argue it doesn't make sense for Damian to be above Tim due to their age difference, Tim has always been pretty short and physically weaker, and much less of a natural prodigy and physical specimen compared to the other Robins. Meanwhile, Damian was literally created to kill and was trained from birth as a fighter. I imagine as much more time passes, not only Tim, but Jason and eventually Dick will be surpassed by Damian as he becomes a fully fledged adult and taps into his limitless fighting potential. Although obviously Cassandra Cain solos them all simultaneously. Now for the next section, most intelligent. I think we will recognize that this is a wash for Tim Drake here. I can't imagine anyone arguing against that for anything other than just to be a contrarian. Tim Drake, from his introduction, was credited for his intellect and cunning mind, and is often stated to be even smarter than Bruce himself, although other statements simply suggest that with time, he may achieve Bruce's level, which, considering as this is a man capable of outsmarting Brainiac himself, isn't exactly an anti-feat to be considered less intelligent as the Batman. Besides Bruce though, Tim Drake is doubtlessly without peer in terms of investigative thinking and problem-solving skills, as well as tactical capability and quick decision-making. If I were, once again, for argument's sake, to give him a rival, it would probably be Barbara Gordon, aka Oracle, who essentially acted as the metaphorical brain of the Bat family for many years, and was responsible for the coordination, research, and analytical role for multiple heroes at once. After Tim, I think Dick is a comfortable pick. Once again, his narrative was for a long time a man approaching Batman on all aspects, not just fighting. And he's been shown countless times how impressive his detective skills can be. The real debate, once again, comes with Damian at number 3 to Jason, which may ruffle some feathers, and I will choose to explain myself. Now, Jason Todd is not an idiot. In fact, he is in his own right a straight-up genius. The entire danger of Red Hood was his ability to outthink Bruce due to his advantage in the information war of Jason knowing all of Batman's tricks. However, not to seem like a Damian fan who's always defending his case, but the simple fact of Damian's upbringing and advanced knowledge in almost every field you can think of, and extensive further training upon taking up the mantle of Robin, all points to Damian being smarter, even if he might not be as wise as Jason. Another common occurrence as well is Damian being forced to outthink his opponent, and on some occasions Jason specifically, in order to grab a victory. Now, if you want to say Jason is above Damian, I get it. I understand. I won't die on this hill, but I personally consider Damian to be the more intelligent and learned between the two. So far, I think we've been able to establish a pretty good image of all the Robin's placements as both detectives and crime fighters, as well as understand that while these placements aren't exactly wrong, due to Damian's insane potential and rate of growth, they're certainly subject to change as the kid keeps growing. I mean, if these were actually based on the stats as to when they were Robins, Damian would easily be the best all-rounder when it comes to both combat and intelligence, as he sits far above any of them in terms of combat capability, while possibly being the second smartest still under Tim. But if we were going to compare them by their tenures as the Boy Wonder, we once again come back to that question of who was the best. And I don't know if you guys are going to like my answer, but the best Robin, and I'm not going to say Damian, by the way. I know it might seem like I have a bias, but in truth, when he was first introduced, I hated the little runt, and that was because he replaced who I think is the best Robin, Tim Drake. Now I know, trust me, I know, Dick is the original, Damian's the most trained, Jason is the only one actually from Gotham City, unlike Tim who's just a suburbs baby. But the reason that Tim has to be the best Robin is because Tim Drake is Robin. Dick Grayson is Nightwing, Jason Todd is the Red Hood. Damian is already starting to outgrow his title and move into his own thing. But Tim, you can't separate him from the title of Robin. Even Red Robin, who, by the way, I absolutely adored, and if it was up to me, that would have been Tim's future forever and ever, was just the word Red put in front of Robin. And even that was too much for DC before they just started calling him Robin again. The fact that he's the shortest Bat family member, so he always looks the youngest, everything about him is just inseparable to the Robin title, and to the same extent, Robin as a character cannot be removed from Tim Drake. He has totally taken over the public perception of the character. As the first Robin to actually have a solo run that went on for many years to great success, Tim's footprint on the character is basically a sacrificial branding that will follow the character until the end of time. Using a staff, that's Tim Drake. Wearing a black cape and leggings instead of yellow with booty shorts, that's Tim Drake. Basically, the personality of every modern portrayal of Robin as a neurotic perfectionist who always goes above people's heads and assumes he knows best. Tim Drake. Tim is the only Robin who never once expressed the want to be Batman. His character has always been that he was simply a normal kid who understood the sole fact that Batman needed a Robin, and took it upon himself to fill those boots. He wasn't born into it, he wasn't given it, he literally earned it through his own detective work by discovering the identity of Bruce himself. Now, this is not a video essay on Tim Drake's character. I would love to talk about how Tim is the only Robin who doesn't consider himself Bruce's son and blah 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 blah. To go back to actually justifying why he's the best Robin. It's just said openly multiple times, even as recently as the 2020s. Bruce says it multiple times, Dick says it. It has always been understood that because Tim's motivation for being Robin was simply because he understood his role in helping Batman, he was always the best support for Bruce, not only in detective work, but also fighting side by side as a dynamic duo. Yes, Dick chose Damian as his Robin, but that's only because Dick literally saw Tim as his equal and needed to mentor Damian to stop him from murdering anyone, back when that was a thing. All the evidence points to Tim not only being the best partner for Batman, but also being the ultimate Robin. As for the rest of the rankings, well, I suppose I could respect the Dick Grayson Wonder Boy argument for second place. And once again, not to make this a Jason hate video, but yeah, no. No, definitely not. No. But if you're tired of all these categories Jason is losing in, get ready for another category Jason can't win! Yay! Because we will go into a hugely subjective category, but one I still think has an easy general number one pick. That being, who is the successor to the cow? And it's Dick, right? I mean, we all agree on that. He literally was Batman, and honestly, he probably did a better job at it than Bruce. The real debate this time is, can we stop Jason from being last? Because hear me out. I know he became an evil version of Batman that one time, but Tim did it like 3 times, so, don't judge the evil Batman by its cover, okay? In truth, though, the reason I think Tim would easily be the worst Batman is basically every reason he's the best Robin. The kid is a born number 2. He couldn't even lead Young Justice without passing the responsibility to Cassie, because he just isn't a born leader, which I think might be an important trait if you're going to be Batman. In the Batboy and Robin comics, in which Tim temporarily becomes Batman, even though he does a decent job, it ends with him realizing that this is definitely something he doesn't want, and ultimately, that's fine. He's Robin, not Batman, and I am personally fine with putting him at the bottom. Now, can we push Jason to the top 2 and put him above Damian? So here's the thing. If you could have one takeaway from this video, it's that this Damian and this Damian are really not the same person. And while yes, this Jason and this Jason, and I guess also this Jason, are also very different people, I find it really hard to argue Damian wouldn't be a more effective Dark Knight at this point in the story. In fact, you know what? It was really hard not to make the potential argument for Damian and say that if we project how mature, powerful, and intelligent he'll be by the time he would be Batman, he might have surpassed Dick too. That was the argument I really wanted to make. So honestly, arguing that Red Hood would be a better Batman was kind of pushing it. And I'm sorry, Jason fans. I am. I didn't want to put him so low in almost every list, but that's just how things ended up. Also, Cassandra Cain would be a better success than all of them, but that's its own video for the future. So here are the final averages. You can use this for your argument if you wish, but me personally, I believe Tim Drake, in terms of actually being Robin and what that means, is the best. That being said, he is just who wins for me, and you know, it's perfectly reasonable arguments for any of them, but I believe I put forth the most reasonable argument for who was the best Robin. Now, if you disagree with anything I said, I implore you to leave a comment. I want this to be the start of a discussion, not the end of one, you know? And if you agree Tim Drake was Batman's best partner, let's get some Tim Drake love going in the comments, because honestly, he needs it more than anyone. But besides that, I think I'm just going to end the video. Obviously, my uploading has been really irregular, but hopefully for the next month, 2 months-ish, I am going to be, because I've just finished university, this is why my upload schedule's been so bad. Hopefully for the next month, 2 months-ish, I'm going to be on it. Once a week, maybe. Hopefully, I can do once a week. Maybe it'll be once every 2 weeks or 2 every 3 weeks or whatever. But more scheduled videos, hopefully of a higher quality. We will see. And I hope you guys look forward to that. Watch. If you like this, subscribe. I will be doing more DC content in the future. I'll be doing a video on Cassandra Cain, most likely. But besides that, yeah.